racing all across the country. ChampCar Endurance Series. This is the ChampCar iRacing Series, the official sim racing championship of the ChampCar Endurance Series. Despite what producer Michael Derby would have you believe, it's round 5 at Sebring. And it is a beautiful day, but will it be a beautiful night? We are racing into the darkness. Wind coming from the south at this beautiful track. A 1 hour race ahead of us in the front wheel drive TCR cars. Drivers with their choice of 2 Hyundais, 1 Honda or 1 Audi. We'll see how they go on the bumps, the concrete, the pavement and the access roads of the former airfield, with a 1 hour race to come. Let's look at the schedule for this year. This is round 5 of 12 before we then get into the team endurance events in November. Began at Road Atlanta, then Daytona, Phillip Island and Watkins Glen. Many great Champ Car tracks ahead of us. All of these in advance of the Champ Car Endurance Series events, so drivers can get their practice in, become extra familiar and get their reps in for these great tracks that Champ Car Endurance Series goes to. So that's Lime Rock Park, VIR, Mount Panorama, Bathurst, that's our choice, but then Mid-Ohio, Road America and Circuit of the Americas still to come, with the Adelaide Street Circuit in there as well. So to bring you live coverage of tonight's racing, I am David Haynes with Devin Peters.
Oh, David, I love watching front-wheel drive cars go around racetracks. It's a beautiful sight, and we got 4 different ones today. So it's a lot of fun looking at all the different varieties going around the track, even though they're all part of the TCR class. Should be a good show. You know, you've got those front end powered vehicles. They're going to go beating and banging off each other, and they'll be bouncing off the bumps. So it should be a good show for everyone tonight. We're watching, what's that? The blue and green colors. Which car on the camera? We got Michael Polisek. Should have known. It's out on pole in this qualifying session so far. He was fast in qualifying too, and these TCRs are his favorite. He's shown us that a few times. But it's been a competitive season so far. We got Ryan Puckdell in second place right now. Early in this qualifying session, Puckdell's put up a couple strong performances so far this year, and Jared Collins as well. Making a bit of a challenge for Polisek. Fox had the win in the first round, Puckdell in second. We saw Puckdell in third in the second round, and then third again in the third round. But Jared Collins has also been up there, coming off a strong finish at Watkins Glen. And a lot of familiar names. Ryan Carwile in fourth. We're seeing him in the red and white Hyundai here. Running for Bruce. Early contender for a good paint job. I can get behind a 5K IPA race. Then we got a new one here, Haynes.
What's your beer mile record? No, I don't know.
I haven't attempted one yet, but I've been jogging a lot lately, so maybe I'll need to go out and put one down for you. We've got a new contender in 5th place, Rishav Kozla. Looking here like he's in the Moto livery.
So what are drivers racing for this year? Well, it's to be prepared for the ChampCar Endurance Series and get extra practice on the tracks that iRacing has laser scanned. But there's also great prizes. 2,000 champ bucks to the season champion. We also make some random prize draws throughout the year. We've already drawn spring. This is the first race of 4 in summer, and anyone who completes all 4 goes into the draw. We spin the wheel and someone gets chosen for a nice little prize. Tail end of the year, Team Enduro's coming up. Get your teammates together. We'll have 4 3-hour races with handoffs between teammates. Some prizes attached to that, and the total value across 2026 is worth $3,750 US. Our reigning season champion is Michael Polasek. He's here to try to defend that. And in the Team Enduros, it was won by SimCity Racing, with Ryan Puxel doing every race. And he's carried that form into the new year as well.
Yeah, if we're lucky, I see on the track we got Byron Hayes rolling around. He was the winner of our first random prize draw from the first 4 races. So we'll see. We drew it after the last round. We'll see if he can come and join us at some point after the race. Tell us what his plans are, because I think he had some plans already for his 250 champ bucks. And everyone's competing for the big prize up there today, Haynes.
So it's almost time up on qualifying, and we'll head towards the race. This year's June-July ChampCar Endurance Series race at Sebring will be in the night. 12 hours, I believe, from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. And that's what we'll be doing shortly as well. Shadow's getting longer now, and then we jump into the race and it'll get quite dark by the end of that. So it's still Polasek on top from Puxel, Collins, Carwile and Chase as our top 5. Andy Kosick here in 18th. In the mintiest Hyundai Elantra that there's ever been. Fun fact, in the Australian market, this car is called the i30 sedan.
I didn't know. Any other Australian trivia for us today? Any Australian drivers on the grid, Haynes?
No, but someone at some point had the flag of Norfolk Island, which is an Australian administered territory. So that's as near as we got.
Fair enough. Well, I think we might be about to see a real big achievement here. Kevin Glass rolling around in 8th place right now. 8th place, do you hear that, Haynes? That's a Canadian up in the top 10. I know who my dark horse is for the race today.
And a new fastest lap of the session from Michael Polasek, going just a little bit quicker with a 2:10.648. This is going to be one of the last times we see here from Andy Kosick, unless he decides to practice that pit entry that everyone's going to need to take at least once during the 1-hour race to come. Every car starting with 40 litres of fuel, which is a number of gallons that could be calculated. About 10?
I'm going to tell you it's 11.9, David Haynes.
Oh, yeah, that's about 10.
Yeah. I did the conversion by using gallons all the time.
Fantastic. Or if you were in the session and you clicked the car and read the setup, it'd tell you that there too. So it's a beautiful evening at Sebring. For just a moment, the track goes quiet, then the field will grid up behind the pace car for the formation lap. It wouldn't be Florida, though, without the chance of just a tiny bit of precipitation in the air. I believe we currently sit at a 30% chance of rain in just a brief 15-minute window. Something for everyone to think about And this is how they'll line up on the grid for that formation lap and rolling start. Michael Polasek alongside Ryan Pucktel, Jared Collins and Ryan Carwile, Michael Chase and Rishav Khosla, Bowie Suin and Kevin Glass, Ian Giebler and Kevin Collins. Very exciting top 10 there, but it doesn't end there, with Tim Wyer in 11th and Tyler Schmidt in 12th. Then Andy Kosick, as we saw, in 13th, Will Warren in 14th, Jack Stodola in 15th, and Alex Harrison 16th, Lee Martin and Aaron Brown in 17th and 18th, David Martin and Jean Sirota. Then Dennis Daniel in 21st, Brian Tidd in 22nd, Byron Hayes in 23rd, Logan Senhauser in 24th, ahead of his brother Cameron in 25th, Chris Jennings in 26th, John Nicholford in 27th, James Helbling in 28th, Steve Hemetz in 29th, Matt McGee in 30th, and did Cindy Pickett set a qualifying time? You betcha. 2:16.4 to be 31st on the grid. Everyone setting a qualifying time in the 20-minute session, but now line up behind the iRacing sedan pace car. Championship standings at this point, as we come into round 5 of 12, has Lincoln Fox up top, but the Fox is not here. The Fox is not at home. It's Jared Collins in 2nd in the standings, from Ryan Pucktel in 3rd, Michael Chase in 4th, just 1 point ahead of Kyle Robertson, Ryan Carwile, Aaron Brown, Ian Giebler, David Martin, and Cameron Senhauser, displacing Logan Senhauser from the top 10. It's Cameron on top there as we pull away for the formation lap. So as I look at the weather radar, there's 0 precipitation on it, but there is just some warmth and humidity in the air, as you expect from Sebring, Florida at this time of year. 24% chance of rain in 25 minutes, it says. That's going to have to appear quickly and move quickly, because it's not on the radar if it's 20 minutes away. And there's the front row of our grid. Polasek in the Elantra. Ryan Pucktel, headlights on in the Audi. All Elantras on row 2 with Collins and Carwile. And this is the biggest braking zone on the lap at turn 7. High speed into the tight corner. This is where a lot of the passing happens, but some of the carnage happens too, because with the little chicane on the exit, it becomes a bit tight one line on the exit of that corner as well in racing conditions, where we'll be next lap by. So plenty happens around here at Sebring. Testing, racing, still active as an airport with one of the runways. So if you're Roger Penske and you want to fly in on N500 RP, you still can. And then there's a bunch of facilities around here doing engineering work and other things.
I've had the experience of driving on a racetrack right next to a live runway, and it's a little bit freaky when you see the plane coming down beside you, and you realize both how big it is and how slow you are in your little race car going down the straightaway. You know, you feel real badass until one of those things comes by.
Well, it's said that all comedians want to be rock stars and all rock stars want to be comedians, or pilots want to be racing drivers and all racing drivers want to be pilots, I think. But we'll find out who's the best driver in not too long. We're coming down the back straight, the Ullman Straight on the far side of the paddock, before we'll swing through Sunset Bend, and the setting sun will be right in the driver's eyes as they approach that corner throughout the race. And then when the pace car pulls in, the green flag waves, Michael Polasek and Ryan Puchtel will lead this race down towards turn 1, and the 60 minutes on the clock will begin. Identical setups throughout the field, all starting on the same amount of fuel. They're going to need to make another pit stop in the race to get to the end. When they make that is their choice. Pace car in, field packed up, green flag waving. We go racing for the ChampCar iRacing Series at Sebring, and it's a great getaway from the pole sitter Michael Polasek across to the racing line to open up turn 1 on some cold tyres. Ryan Puchtel feeling some pressure from Jared Collins coming down the inside of the sweeping turn 1. It tightens on the exit as we get to some of the more purpose-built racetrack sections. Multiple car lengths for your race leader. Rest of the field coming into turn 3. Tightens up through here with a little switch back at 4 and then into long turn 5. And that's around and in the wall for one of the drive trainer cars.
Yeah, Bowie Suin was having a pretty decent little start, but a little bit of contact with, that looks like Tyler Schmidt, and it gets him pointed the wrong way. Luckily, he's able to carry on with minimal damage, and I think Tyler Schmidt's actually paid a heavy price. He's got no nose on the front of that car. And there's
How
two
does he
drive
smell?
trainer cars beside each other. I bet you he smells very fully with the amount of air getting rammed through that radiator right now.
Well, this is tough for drive trainer because Byron Hayes and Bowie Suin are running dead last on track, but Alex Harrison and Andrew Kosick have gone on the tow hook up front. A 1.3 second lead for Polasek. So this is going to be, oh, that's Harrison and Kosick.
That's a tough one. Oh, and a long stopping distance there.
In theory, ABS should work when you're going backwards. I think the wheel speed sensors don't actually know whether the wheel's going forward or backward, but the brake bias might be wrong. Puchtel with a 1.6 second disadvantage to race leader Michael Polasek. He's got Jared Collins just behind him as they exit Le Mans corner onto the Ullman Straight. Carwell, Chase and Kozler means that our top 6 are all in the order that they qualified, but Tyler Schmidt is up 4, Kevin Glass is up a spot, Aaron Brown is up 6, and Cameron Senhauser, we said, in the top 10 of the championship, also up 8 spots on this opening lap. Tyre temperature really should have built for everyone, but rear tyre temperature is difficult to build in these cars. They also don't wear the rear tyres particularly much either. So through Sunset Bend, underneath the bridge that accesses the paddock and the pit lane, and 1 lap completed.
Yeah, and you're seeing that lack of rear tire temperatures. A few of the cars are going through Sunset Bend this time, just slide in the rear ends. Some of them even kicking up a little bit of smoke. It's a bit of a treacherous track condition out there. Chilly day, 76 degrees Fahrenheit, a little bit of wind and lots of humidity, as is the Florida tradition. And watching along with Ryan Puchtel, it doesn't look like he's setting a foot wrong, but compared to Michael Polasek, who's in his favorite car, driving his favorite sort of race from the front, I think Puchtel's going to be hard-pressed to keep up. He's going to have to find something based on a practice session.
The winner at Watkins Glen last time out in the GR86 leads at Sebring in the Hyundai Elantra. Still nothing to be seen on the weather radar, but certainly early evening shadows across the track.
And Sebring's plenty interesting, even without a drop of rain. And with how tightly sprung these TCR cars have to be, you kind of really feel the upset of the bumps and the curbs around this place.
Yeah, they're moving around as we go on board with second place, minding the curbs through one of the more open parts of the racetrack, Jean-Zébien and Le Mans. You don't want to run too wide out the far side of that curb there, because your exit is critical down the back straight. 1.6 seconds behind. Paktola wish he was just a little bit closer.
Yeah. Real big front tires, but you put a little bit of that outside the track and that's going to spin up real good if you're not careful.
Nearly identical times between first and second as they come up to speed. 2:10.9 for Polasek, 2:10.9 for Ryan Paktel there. So it just stabilizes with Polasek a tiny bit beyond reach at a track that is relatively high average speeds. A couple of big slipstreaming opportunities. Front straight, back straight, big bend into turn 7. And so it's pretty close through the rest of the field though. Michael Chase just ahead of Rishav Kozla. Tyler Schmidt was close and then dropped a little bit further back. I think Aaron Brown's one of the drivers who's been putting some pressure on from 12th. No ABS for this big braking zone here. You see Tim Wire there in the Honda, nearly running up the back of Kevin Collins. And yeah, Schmidt missing part of the nose, but somehow unaffected by that.
Seems like he's still got the splitter attached, so I'm surprised that's working out for him as well as it is.
Attached to what is the question? It's not clear, but yep, you're right. As we look then at Collins and Wire are pretty damn close. Tower turns, one of the only places with much camber to speak of to it. So you get into the corner there and it just grips you a little bit more, but only if you brake and turn in time to get to that camber that really only exists on the inside line of the corner. Wire didn't get it quite right. Aaron Brown right behind him now. Oh, missing the corner goes Kevin Collins. I think that'll be a slowdown for him, and he'll have to let 2 cars go down the straight because he has cut the course big time, not getting turned into Jean-Zébien.
They're being very respectable TCR drivers out there, I gotta say, David Haynes. I mean, they're all single file. It's very uncharacteristic. What is this?
So Schmidt has Ian Giebler just behind, heading down the front straight. Giebler looked much more confident through the bumpy sunset bend and into turn 1. Turns in from wide. You got to get a late apex because it always feels like the track tightens. So many drivers run wide. That's why the grass doesn't grow out there where the mowing happens. I'm waiting for those plastic palm trees to light up like they always do at night here at Sebring.
Looks like a little bit of a run here from Ian Giebler as he's catching up to the back of Tyler Schmidt. Not quite close enough to get a move on, but a little bit of pressure between those two. Critical
art reference here to show you what the front bumper's meant to look like.
Yeah, exactly. I'm honestly shocked that Tyler's car is handling it as well as it is right now. Without that bumper, I wonder if he will pay the price later in the stint.
A bit further back, you've got Cameron Sennhauser making so many moves. I believe he's gone past his brother, Logan Sennhauser. Lee Martin is in the middle at the moment. This is them. Oh, Martin wide. Logan Sennhauser through Le Mans corner, right with him in one of the rare Hyundai Velosters.
Yeah, Logan in the purple one Danger Sennhauser, the middle name, from what I can see here. And you wouldn't be surprised to learn that the two brothers consider the only other opponent on the track to be their brother. So that's probably why we see them side by side in every single race, it seems like.
Cameron Sennhauser was wide through Sunset Bend there. Lee Martin looks to the inside, but is very, very tentative. So it looks like Cameron Sennhauser will try to get around the outside of turn 1. Turn 2 is that kink there, and we have a switch then going into turn 3. Looks like Logan Sennhauser gets ahead of Lee Martin. John Serrata gets a little bit closer as they battle side by side just there. That's Cameron Sennhauser up 8, Logan Sennhauser up 6.
Lee Martin knew he didn't want to be in a Sennhauser sandwich. Got to stay out of those.
Tight squeeze at turn 7. Chris Jennings and John Nicholford. Jennings of the USA, Nicholford of Canada.
It's basically the War 1812 out there.
It's exactly like that. That's what I'm always saying. And Hermetz and Helbling just behind as well. This group of 4 come into Tower Bend again. Really important to get the banking, I think I said a couple of laps ago.
I was going to say that Helbling might be a contender for name of the year with a little bit of an intimidating move there. Scaring Hermetz right off the track.
Now, the rules for TCR homologation used to say you had to be a 4-door hatch. And Hyundai successfully argued that the Veloster does have a rear door. It should be eligible.
That's one of my favorite homologation stories of probably this decade, this century. It's not so many good, fake outs. Like I remember with some rally cars back in the day. Interestingly, Tyler Schmidt taking a pit stop here. First one that we've seen, and I gotta wonder if this is intentional, Haynes.
He's trying to call. Getting that damage repaired is the aim of the game, but what I didn't see was the cargo up on the jacks, so I think it's the same 4 tyres that stay on. Bowie Suin had a 29-second stop. Tyler Schmidt is just reaching that now as he pulls out of his pit stall and up to speed.
I am a little curious to see what the call is. We rejoin the action here. I think Jack Stodola, we'll watch it here. He was trying to line up a move on Will Warren, I think, misses a braking point and takes a little bit of evasive action. That was a good dodge on his part. Bad corner, good dodge. Costs him a spot.
And Tim Wire now engaged in battle just behind Aaron Brown. From 18th on the grid up to 9th now for Aaron Brown. So a lot of positions gained so far. Gone past drivers like Tim Wire, Kevin Collins, Will Warren.
I am a little curious to see what the tires do in these TCRs. I haven't driven them a lot lately, and they do often do endurance races, but you think they'd be pretty good after an hour. Is that Harrison making some moves? Looks like it.
Yes.
Oh. Makes some moves on Byron Hayes, who's going to take a trip off the track. And Alex Harrison has his sights forward on Cindy Pickett, who goes all 4 off on the exit. And loses a fair bit of momentum that way through the Le Mans curve.
Down towards Drama's on the front straight though. That's Dennis Daniel. So through Sunset Bend, what has happened is it pushed wide as he's hit the wall on one side, broken the left rear suspension or the left front, and come to a stop against the opposite wall. So Dennis Daniel bouncing across the curb. The car's gotten floaty and pushed wide. Across the curb, across the bumps, I should say.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's the old Forza Motorsport intro video, bouncing across the curbs in Sunset Bend and sliding out into the outside wall. And the drive trainer guys are having one to forget this week.
Interesting to see that happen. Gap amongst the top three continues to just spread out a little bit. Michael Polasek pulling away from Ryan Puchtel. Puchtel pulling away from Collins. Highly likely that one of Puchtel and Collins will lead the championship after this race.
Yeah. I actually feel like the gap between Puchtel and Polasek is not quite as big as it was a lap ago. I'm trying to figure out what I might have missed. Hasn't been a slow one from Polasek, so relatively quick one from Puchtel, I guess. A little bit of lap traffic there too.
If I've read this right, if we finish as we are here, Jared Collins will keep his lead of the championship by just 2 points. So Ryan Puchtel will close some on him. Lap down, Andy Kosick down the front straight, heads up to what's going on. Kosick towed and had some big repairs to do as well. And good news, bad news. The 28% chance of rain has diminished to a 3% chance of rain to we're not going to see any rain. So I would say a 20% chance of rain is almost a 0% chance of rain. It's less than 50-50. It was never going to happen, but there are some clouds about and it continues to get darker on this mostly cloudy evening. Lights still not on my palm trees.
Almost 7:30 local time in the sim, so we might get some lights yet before the end of this one. It's dark enough that the lights are on the cars. T-Pain,
turn all the lights on. The Audi RS3 runs with the headlights on all the time. The Honda Civic runs with the DRLs on all the time. I don't think the Elantra... Oh, the Veloster's got its little LEDs, so we're actually not running full headlights just yet.
Feels like it's dark enough out there that someone could start mashing the headlight flasher button and get some effect out of it. Need some of the racers that are tuned in to demonstrate for us.
So this is a really good group here. Aaron Brown leading Tim Wire, leading Will Warren. Kevin Collins had that moment where he went off the track and lost a few spots. He's in the middle of this as David Martin, Jack Stadola and Cameron Senhauser also make some gains.
Senhauser's managed to make about a 3-second lead back to the other Senhauser brother.
Tim Wyatt got into Lamar corner there and just began to understeer a little bit directly behind Aaron Brown. So the tyre life, tyre wear, pretty significant.
Yeah, I kind of got halfway into that thought before. I wonder if there'll be a lot in the hour. I also wonder if taking fresh tires will be worth it just for the lower tire pressure and the lower temps.
So still only 3 drivers that have made a pit stop and continued. Dennis Daniel might be, out of this race after that issue at Sunset Bend.
Ooh, big moment for Wire there. Makes it look easy though. Jumps all 4 tires off on the exit. Seems like he hardly loses anything. Salen's car looking comfy on or off the track.
I've got that dog in me.
Says Tim Wire, right?
Yeah, exactly. Kevin Collins ran wide again there, just in front of David Martin and Jack Stadola. So that's what's happening in this group entering Tower Turn. It's a late apex corner that tightens with that just little bit of camber. But Collins has just been struggling to keep the car stable on turn into some of these corners. Here's where he ran off the track a previous time. It's off camber into that corner. Again, I think he's just a tiny bit wide, but still on the road.
Yeah, just struggling a bit with the push. You gotta... These TCRs are a bit of an odd beast, you know, with the amount of aero and the amount of power through a front wheel drive. It's just a bit of a handful of a car to drive. See them driving through a little bit of smoke from a lockup from Will Warren ahead. Kevin's trying to make the outside line work, but Jack Stadola's making the inside line work a lot better. Clears him easily on the exit. It's a point position lost for Kevin there. And who's that? We got Michael Chase in the pit lane. That looks like that might be a scheduled stop. From 7th place. And up in the air on the jacks. So we'll get to see what fresh tires look like here, maybe, Haynes.
Yeah, I think the go, as described by most people, has been new front tyres. Keep the same rear tyres, get new front tyres. The balance of the car will be okay pretty quickly. You'll still keep rear tyre heat, and these cars generate front tyre heat very quickly and effectively. Michael Chase comes out on track ahead of Byron Hayes and Cindy Pickett, who haven't stopped yet. So he gets himself some clear track after that pit stop too. That was 25.8 seconds.
Racing in a few spots out there. This is the battle between Stadola and David Martin. David Martin looking pretty comfy out there. Currently sitting in 11th place, I think. Yeah. Cameron Senhauser starting to get into the back of that picture. He's been putting together some fast laps in the clean air. He's managed to get from the other brother. Almost 3 seconds between them now, Haynes.
Yeah, that's was always going to be the challenge with this car, is not your one lap pace, but your management of the tyres on a longer run.
Stadola might have something here with that inside line.
You watch some of these drivers through the long corners, and they've got a lot of steering angle cranked on, and some of the other cars don't. So you saw that just here. A lot of steering angle from David Martin, far less from Jack Stadola.
Yeah. It's kind of impressive from the onboard, almost seeing the difference. Flipping through all the different camera angles available to us. Stadola close, but not quite as close as a couple of cars ahead, actually. Will Warren and Tim Wire were nearly tangling. That's Wire in the Salen's car and Warren just behind as they were going through tower turn there. Nope, not the tower turn. The hairpin turn. At the wrong end of the track.
Yeah, so still a couple of tight groups in the midfield. Starting to see some more pit stops happen. Chris Jennings and Cindy Pickett pitting. But here's Tim Wire right in the middle of Giebler and Warren. Ian Giebler and Tim Wire are good buddies from what I know. So let's see if they remain so for 36 minutes.
It's a hazardous place to be, you know, a couple TCRs real close to each other.
So there's Wire just behind Giebler towards Sunset Bend, one of the fastest parts of the racetrack. And yeah, that's a new peak speed for Tim Wire with that massive toe that he got, but not enough to get close. You're hoping the other driver runs a little bit wide in the back half, but we're going to pit in. We're all pitting in here, Giebler, Wire, and Warren.
Maybe a little teamwork there. David Martin decides to take the plunge as well. Cameron Sennhauser behind. Who else we got? Logan Sennhauser, Lee Martin. It's a party.
I think you'll get a couple more from behind there as well. I reckon either McGee or Helbling are going to come in. So pit service going on aplenty at Sebring. Who'll be first away? Probably Giebler, but it could be close.
Tid had to take a kind of cautious entry to the pit lane. Couldn't see where his box was. And did we see all of them up on jacks? I think we saw almost all of them. The only one I wasn't sure about was Ian Giebler.
Well, he wins the race here ahead of Tim Wire, Sennhauser, Martin, Logan Sennhauser. Longer stop, significantly longer stop for Will Warren.
You know, both Wire and Giebler, I don't think, got up on the jacks there, so they might be running one set of tires all the way at the end of the race. We'll see. I think there's a little advantage in the warm-up. But I don't know what that looks like at the end of the race.
Michael Chase, with his stop 2 laps ago, is ahead of all of them, though, which is interesting. Byron Hayes, are we going to see long stop? Yeah, really long stop for Byron Hayes. That might have been 4 tires.
Interesting. Leaders in the
race
pit lane
leaders
now.
in, that's right.
Polasek and Puckdell rolling down the lane. Andy Kosick is continuing on. He's lap back. Jared Collins, Ryan Carwile, and Rishov Kosla taking the lane. It's top 5, Haynes.
Yeah, I think we're getting just about everybody right now. Does anyone continue? Nope. Even John Serrata in the back a shot there. So it's just Alex Harrison and James Helbling that haven't stopped, and they're coming around the back straight and Sunset Bend now. Michael Polasek, 25 seconds. Ryan Puckdell, 25 seconds. They're away and rolling. That Jared Collins just dropped down off the jacks, and at 26 seconds, he pulls away. So definitely front tyres for Collins. Then Ryan Carwile will be next. Alex Harrison hasn't stopped. He'll be the only driver to try to do 13 laps.
Kosla's taking a long stop here. Is this a penalty, Haynes?
I think some drivers aren't aware how long 4 tyres takes.
That's a tough way to find out. 45 seconds on the jacks for him. That's a 20-second loss. I don't think that you got 20 seconds in rear tires, unfortunately. Not in this length of race, anyway. Pit strategy in the ChampCar series is very important, and you gotta make sure that you know it. So Harrison going for the longest stint award. I'm a little curious to see what the fuel situation is going to be looking like for him this lap.
It's 2008 all over again. It's Honda Earth Power, whatever their logo was back then.
Yeah. This would be a pretty special stint if you got it all the way to the end. We are still more than 30 minutes remaining. It's a little interesting. I'm assuming that all of them are just pitting as soon as possible. But the leaders all did go a lap longer than the back of the pack.
Surely this is the in-lap for Mr. Harrison through Sunset Bend, a little tight on the exit and looking for pit entry. Speed limit of 45 miles an hour begins there, and everyone's pit stalls are clustered at the pit exit end, as a very generous pit lane here has room for more than just our 31 drivers. I'd even go so far as to say 62 pit stalls.
I'd have to believe you, Haynes. But as Harrison hits the lane, we see a number of cars coming by. The top 7 are pretty spread out at this point. Aaron Brown is the last driver without anyone to race. He's in 7th. And then Ian Giebler and Tim Wire are back in contact after their stops. You just see Wire in the back of the shot here, with Jack Stadola not too far behind. Winner in the positions gained battle so far, Cameron Senhauser, up 14 spots to 11th. David Martin not too far behind him.
So with a pit stop for everyone, it's still drivers like Aaron Brown and Cameron Senhauser who've been the biggest movers through the fields. Aaron Brown started 18th and is now 7th. Cameron Senhauser started 25th, and here he is now in 11th.
So this group of 4 here being headed up by Logan Senhauser has got Will Warren, Kevin Collins, Lee Martin. A little spread out during the stops. Will Warren might actually be a little bit out of position here. Had a longer stop than everyone else, 32 seconds. The whole group here went a little longer than the rest of the field. 27 seconds on average as compared to the 25 seconds we saw out front. As they come down the Ullman Straight towards Sunset Bend here, see a variety of lines. I'm curious to see inside line here from Will Warren, and has a bad slide on the entry. Doesn't manage to carry the speed we saw Jack Stadola carrying earlier at the inside. He'll have to drop back into line. But I always felt like there was a little something on that inside line if you could get it lined up just right. Oh, and a big slide there from Lee Martin on the entry. You see what a stab of the brakes will do. Logan's lost a little bit of pace. Will Warren's going to dive up the inside. And they're banging doors. This is some good old-fashioned TCR racing here. Warren's trying to close the door. Doesn't quite manage, and Logan's going to get the run on the exit. There is something good about watching a couple of hatchbacks banging into each other, going around a corner. The 3 of them will continue on. Further up the field, Ian Giebler is watching his rearview mirrors. Jack Stadola and Tim Wire are getting closer and closer together. All 3 of them might be about to have a little scrap here. Coming up to Jean de Bienne.
Now we think
to the long curve.
Wire took no tires and Stodola took fronts, right?
I think so.
Stodola a bit wide out of Le Mans corner, but still quick. These guys are ahead of Kosler, who was ahead of them but took 4 tyres. So we'll see if some of those drivers come back through the field into Sunset Bend. And times like right now, evenings like this, are why it has that name.
Yeah, the cloud's actually taking some of the pain out of Sunset Bend right now, since there's so much cover out there. Late break from Wire.
So the advantage would be kind of like in these traction zones for Jack Stodola, who looks to the inside of turn 3 but doesn't quite get there. David Martin battling Kosler, who's coming back through the field, and Will Warren around the outside of Logan Senhauser. So battles are plenty in 3 places throughout this field. There's Warren running a little bit deep, Logan Senhauser all over him, then Lee Martin, Kevin Collins, and Jean Sirota. Surely the purple Veloster will have a look, and not patient to wait for the inside line, switches back. It's a move he's done before. Now he's looking for this big braking zone at turn 7. Cautious. Still getting his nose to the inside and squeezed a little bit by Warren coming around the outside.
I think really like this Logan Senhauser paint job. It's like the grimace version of Cossack's Mint Edition car. It's good stuff here. Need more purple cars. Up ahead, David Martin and Cameron Senhauser are getting too wide. So they went through the tower turn that time.
Yes, and as they do that, 4 tyre shod Kosler is coming down upon them. So might have taken a lap or 2 to get temperature, not just for the fronts, but for the rears on Kosler.
He's moving right now, though.
Good apex at Le Mans. Mostly on track. There's always going to be a little bit of dust and dirt in the air there. And we head down the straight. It's Cameron Senhauser who's most vulnerable. 2 Audis behind, getting a big slipstream towards Sunset Bend. About 12 laps to go with 23 minutes remaining on the clock. So many different lines you can take through here. Senhauser's a little defensive on the way in. Martin gets a bit of understeer through the middle, and Kosler with a big wide line, therefore gets a run up onto the front straight.
Up ahead, Jack Stodola is putting the moves on Ian Giebler through the first turn. Giebler's going to try and hold the outside line, and if he can manage it, he'll get the switchback, but he doesn't. Stodola takes the spot away, and that's Stodola up to 8th place. And we are seeing that maybe fresh tires was the way to go on the front. Stodola making quick work of those 2.
Kosler's got one of his spots now. Not too far behind that next group as well. So in between Martin and Cameron Senhauser.
That caused those odds with the speed that we saw earlier in the race, but Cameron Senhauser's not an easy guy to pass. We'll see how tough he makes it on him. It's interesting. What is this livery that he's got going on? It's like Honda, Puma, and teeth.
Oh, we've seen it before. I can't remember exactly what, but it's not new to me.
So it's a funny looking thing.
Sure is. Looks like Logan Senhauser is almost past Will Warren. Oh, don't count that one too early, actually.
Oh, nicely done on the outside.
Yeah, that's wide now from Warren as he hits the gravel. Lee Martin has a good run at the both of them. Then Kevin Collins and John Serrata behind that. Logan Sennhauser still under pressure. Lee Martin has gone to the inside very early. Now Will Warren goes across there. Lee Martin swaps back the other way into Sunset Bend. Again, got to be careful of the understeer through such a long corner. Tough to balance the car. Lee Martin's done it well. He's on the inside there with good drive as well, to my surprise. Will Warren from Logan Sennhauser alongside Lee Martin.
It looked like he was doing the little Scandinavian flick on the way into Sunset Bend with the way he changed lanes there.
Yeah, these five still super close together. Whoever leads seems to make a couple of little mistakes. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. By the way, a couple of those RVs there on the outside of turn 6 are sitting in the mud, so good luck getting those out at the end of the race.
Just going to say that up ahead, these guys are driving through lots of dust, but it's getting busy all over the place. This is back on with Sennhauser and Kozla again. Lap later, and Sennhauser still not been passed. Kozla was real close coming to the hairpin. He's dropped back a few car lengths now. And every lap you waste getting by a guy when you're on the alternate tire strategy just takes some of the goodness off of him. So if you're Kozla, you really want to kind of make quick work here. Gets a good run on the exit of Le Mans there, though. Sennhauser goes
and
defensive.
Behind them too. So the Ullman Straight's the excitement place to be right now. Cameron Sennhauser alongside Rishav Kosla, who's going to go so deep on the way in, try to swap back underneath. Logan Sennhauser's going down the inside of Will Warren. So a great place to be watching from.
Oh!
Again,
that was a big slide from Sennhauser. That's going to cost him a lot on the exit.
yeah, Will Warren stays ahead. Lee Martin gets ahead too. He's to our right-hand side here.
And up ahead, they're too wide again. Kozla is trying to make the move around the outside. Kozla made the move on the inside of Sennhauser, and now David Martin is putting the pressure on Sennhauser.
Is that Giebler and Wire side by side? You bet it is. So it's all action right now as Tim Wire moves ahead. Jack Stodola has left them for dust as well, and it looks like this next group are catching as well. Stodola in the 212s, Wire and Giebler in the 214s, Warren, Sennhauser, Martin kind of in the 214s that time. So now I think Kozla is through. He's going to have a lot of speed. Qualified very strongly. Had that really long pit stop, but it should have given him 4 new tyres if that's what he did. So Wire and Giebler might be in trouble.
Yeah, and Wire and Giebler they're setting a solid pace, but it's definitely a little slower than about the 4 cars behind them. So there's a lot of positions that could be up for grabs here in the closing laps. 15 minutes to go, 17 minutes. Billy Suin's actually looking pretty racy, but he's a ways off of that last battle pack.
Almost a bit of a bump draft there going into Sunset Bend. Logan Sennhauser and Will Warren again. Sennhauser's trying to get down low for this exit. Pushes a little bit wide from Warren, who might have had to get out of the throttle. Lee Martin also didn't get a great run. Kevin Collins did. So the battle's down towards turn 1 is Sennhauser and Warren. Martin and Collins. Logan Sennhauser dives for the inside of 1. Has to slow it up at the apex. I think that's done, though.
Yeah, Warren might have overslowed it a little bit. It's feels good to get it all the way to the inside like that, but you're probably giving up a little bit through the apex if you can get it that tight on the exit.
Still no headlights on the Hondas or the Velosters. Still no lights on the palm trees at turn 4, but it is looking increasingly dark. The air cools a little bit, the track cools a little bit towards the end of the race as well, racing towards the night time. Long shadows and dark clouds. Logan Sennhauser having gained 14th spot. Can he keep 14th position? They've dropped Sean Sirota in this group, so he's no longer quite matching their pace. Bowie Suin closing 4 or 5 seconds back. Alex Harrison likewise. Matt McGee also had some problems at a point. Chris Jennings with 4 tyres is catching Steve Hermetz. So that's 24th and 25th. And Jennings has got a little bit more tyres to work with.
Yeah, all the action happening down the field. We haven't checked in on the front in a long time, but there's not a lot to tell. Michael Polasek is running away with this one. He's got almost 7 seconds back to, that's not Cindy Pickett, or that's not Ryan Carr or Puckdell behind. That's Cindy Pickett. So here's Puckdell, second place. And then another 11 seconds back to Jared Collins. So 3 guys that are contenders in the championship, and they're all just having very solitary races. Just enough difference in their average pace to keep them apart. Meanwhile, things are heating up back at the front here, the front of the back of the top 10.
Rishav Kosler has caught Tim Wyer and Ian Giebler, and now he's trying to pass Ian Giebler and gets to the inside of turn 3. Things tighten in that little kink at 4, but if you can hold the inside for 6, you'll always be in the best seat. Drive off of there is important. Turn 6 here is absolutely flat out in these cars, building up speed towards the tight turn 7 hairpin, the biggest braking zone on the lap. Moving to the inside defensively goes Will Warren with Lee Martin just behind him. And Kosler gets his spot. Tim Wyer is next on the menu. Sennhauser and Martin side by side.
Whew. A little over-under action there.
It's good racecraft from David Martin to try that and go, okay, I'm going to brake a little bit early on the outside here, but then turn in late and try to get my nose back underneath, because then the drive is difficult off of that corner immediately into another sequence of corners. So a tight exit from Cunningham actually places you well through the S's at Collier and into Tower Turn.
It's half a dive there from David Martin.
Oh, someone's off at the exit of turn 1.
Oh.
So, Ryan Puckdell in second place. Tangles. See, if you make that much of a move off the racing line, you kind of got to slow down before the corner.
Oh, no. Yeah, not the finest work from the back marker there.
Puckdell's gone 360 and continued.
Yeah.
This is Kosler getting his next spot. Tim Wyer, we believe those 4 tyres have been on since the start. We believe that Rishav Kosler got 4 brand new ones. Gave him a long pit stop, but it certainly looks like he's driving with a little more grip than the rest. He's back up into 9th place, having been running in 6th before the pit stops.
Yeah, it'll be interesting for me to see how Two Tires fares against Giebler and Wire at this phase in the stint, because Cameron Sennhauser's now right on the back of Giebler. Progress definitely doesn't seem to be as fast, but Sennhauser's been making up positions all night, Cameron. So we'll have to see how that works out.
SN95 Ford Mustang watching on at Collier Corner. Probably about right for Sebring, Florida. And now we see what Will Warren can do, what Cameron Sennhauser can do here. These battles sort of 10th to 20th, non-stop the whole race.
Yeah. Well, we were having our little check-in on the front three or four. We didn't get through the rest of them. Feel like we ought to shout out the rest of at least the top five. Ryan Carwile was fourth. Michael Chase lapping out there in fifth. Then Kevin Glass having a quiet one in sixth, leading the Canadian part of the contingent. And I had it on good authority that Kevin Glass drives a real-world 98 K24 Civic. So that might explain some of his success in this car. And then Aaron Brown also having a quiet race. Nearly 6 seconds back.
Cameron Sennhauser's just got by Ian Giebler at turn 1. David Martin looks to be next. There was actually a 10th place between Giebler and Martin going into turn 3. They sorted that out. We come into turn 7 now.
So say, if you thought the 10th place was first place in this race, the way they're fighting over it, you wouldn't be, you wouldn't be surprised by how they're racing. They're going hard back here in the setting sun.
So that's Martin trying to get more drive out of Cunningham Corner, but there's nowhere to go with Ian Giebler right in front of him. That's Martin's sort of go-to at the moment. Let's do something different in Cunningham Corner. He still is behind Giebler for the moment.
Giebler's doing a pretty good job holding on to it.
He just got right out of Le Mans that time, though, so Martin will close a little bit on the Ullman straight here. Sunset Bend, again, you've got to balance the car very carefully so you're not just cranking in steering lock. But you also don't want to have a massive slide, so yeah, ooh, very up high and wide goes David Martin. Look to the inside of 3. Yep, that's how you do it. Very good braking performance for David Martin.
Could be some of that tire differential showing up, but Martin's definitely felt like he had more speed. Steven Hermetz and James Helbing are still having their little battle. We should jump back to them for just a second because they've just sorted that out as Michael Polisek's trying to get by him. The flashers are out there. Polisek going to try and glue this to the inside and get by him. But that must have been a bit of a moment there for Polasek, because Steve Hermetz was all 4 tires off as he was letting or racing with James Helbing ahead.
So much else happening, but I want to keep up with Michael Polasek, and you can have an understanding of what he's doing versus the rest, because he makes this car look so easy to drive. Everyone else is bouncing around, sliding around, understeering, oversteering, locking up the inside rear, going into the corners. Polasek makes it look like he's driving on a different track.
The Rockwell guys know how to win races, but he's also spent some time in or does he engineer for the or for the Pilot Challenge car? Does he race it? I can't remember.
So this is how precise and smooth and perfect he is. And what a weird little car these are, because the slower it looks like you're going, the faster you're actually going. The drivers who are going slowly are the ones who look like they're going very quickly, bouncing, sliding, yawing. But not Michael Polasek. Holds the fastest lap of the race, heading towards back-to-back race wins after a late start in the season.
Watching Tim Wire once again in his battle with Cameron Sennhauser. David Martin leaving Ian Giebler behind, now getting on the back of this one. And he might just have something to say about Tim Wire ahead yet before the end of this one. 4 minutes to go. He's getting close. And a little further up the road, we might actually have a battle for 7th place, something in the top 10. That's Aaron Brown and Jack Stadola getting real close together.
This looks like Stadola trying to make more. Down the middle of the road on the Ullman Straight from Aaron Brown gives Jack Stadola 2 options, left or right. And he goes left, approaching Sunset Bend. Fair enough, because it lets him brake very deep, start out wide, and try to bring this back to an apex somewhere after the bridge. And I think Stadola's done that pretty well, because he keeps the pressure on down the front straight. Brown goes one way, so Stadola switches back the other. He's going to look to get alongside, going in towards turn 1. And he does, but he's a little pinched there. Aaron Brown holds on.
About 2 laps to go and a little bit of lap traffic ahead too.
This is the highest battle for position as the top 6 have fanned out. Fan out heading down towards turn 7. Aaron Brown still worried about Stadola. Gets in hot, runs deep. Stadola drives up the inside and into 7th place.
David Martin in 12th is now in 11th. It looks like as he pinches Tim Wire on the entry. He's going to lose a little bit on the exit, but Wire gave the spot once the line was disappearing. And a great run from David Martin. It's going to get him a spot in the closing minutes of the race.
Yep, that looks like David Martin gets 11th. And Giebler's dropped back into 13th as some of those other drivers that we know took tyres past him who we think didn't take any. Logan Sennhauser, Lee Martin, Will Warren, the next group of cars are also going quicker than Ian Giebler, but don't have a whole lot of time left.
Ooh, big crossover there from Lee Martin as Logan closed the door on the straightaway. It looks like Lee's rolling a bit more speed through the middle of the corner than Logan is able to right now. He's going to use that extra speed to try and make a move on the exit. Little side draft here. Going to try and make the move up the inside. Dives it in the way you do around Sunset. Logan's trying to hold it around the outside. Maybe get a little run and a crossover. Not quite there. And that's another
problem Logan
spot for Lee
Stenhauser was
Martin.
going to have is he couldn't cross back underneath because Will Warren was there. So the fact that there was 3 cars in the battle kind of helps Lee Martin, who's going to defend the inside of turn 1 quite significantly. So Stenhauser could try to get back at him with a better exit, but doesn't. These 3 head towards the braking zone of turn 3 with Kevin Collins and Jin Sirota just behind. But how much race is left for Michael Polasek? He comes into Sunset Bend, 15 seconds on the clock. It could be one more, you know. Keep an eye on it. 10, 9, 8. I'm still seeing one more for the race leader. Start-finish line is here.
There's a white flag out. It was back and forth there.
It was so close. But this goes another lap, which is going to be very interesting for some of the drivers that took some shorter stops.
Have to see if anyone's radio is suddenly lighting up with the engineer telling them, you're short, you're short. Especially with the back half of the field pitting earlier than the front half and how hard the back half's been fighting. Got Logan Stenhauser now trying to fight his way back past Lee Martin.
I'm watching Aaron Brown's pace, actually, for this fuel situation. The thing is, all of these drivers won't have seen the white flag last time, so they might know that iRacing will never throw the checkered flag without having thrown the white flag. So if there's no white flag, there can't be a checkered flag the next lap. Brown's found his speed again. So he hasn't actually backed off that much, but he's only just ahead of Ryszard Kosler. Again, we've seen made plenty of moves in the back half of this race. Polasek's 2/3 of the way around his victory lap.
Yep, plenty of fuel on board for him and plenty of pace for Michael Polasek. Strong showing out front and dominant in the way that we've known Michael Polasek to be over the last couple of years.
Michael Polasek's second race this season in ChampCar iRacing Series is going to be his second win. The defending champion's on a streak as he wins at Sebring. Ryan Puchtel will take second. Jared Collins will take the championship lead with a 3rd place finish. Here's Jared Collins taking 3rd. His dad, Kevin Collins, in 17th position on this final lap. A 4-way fight back there as Carwile and Michael Chase will complete the top 5. And Kosler's caught Aaron Brown. He really has.
That's getting close. Kevin Glass crosses the line for 6th. Jack Stadola 7th, and Stadola looks like he's low on fuel.
Yeah, this is Stadola, Brown, and Kosler, and Stadola's very slow going into Sunset Bend. Needs enough fuel to make it to the checkered flag. But so does Brown and Kosler. Jack Stadola, very slow final lap, lost 4 seconds, measured it just perfectly. Aaron Brown also had to slow up, but poor Ryszard Kosler, despite making seconds on the final lap on those guys, couldn't catch and pass them.
Sennhauser, Martin, Wire, 12.
Logan Sennhauser's out of fuel. Will Warren's just passed him coming to the line.
Ian Giebler, Lee Martin, Will Warren, Logan Sennhauser, Kevin Collins, John Sirota, Alex Harrison after that lap 1 incident. Bowie Sewin crossing the line. And Matt McGee and Brian Tidd going to close it out.
Well, it's a sweep of Sebring for Michael Polasek with the fastest lap, the pole position, and the race win. And every lap led perfection from Michael Polasek. Ryan Puchtel and Jared Collins at the podium. Ryan Carwile there in 4th from Michael Chase. Kevin Glass in 6th. Jack Stadola and Aaron Brown just holding on the final lap as Ryszard Kosler caught them. Stadola and Brown nearly running out of fuel. Cameron Sennhauser ahead of David Martin and Tim Wire and Ian Giebler. Lee Martin in 14th. Logan Sennhauser running out of fuel, got passed by Will Warren on the final lap. Kevin Collins finished 17th, John Sirota in 18th, Alex Harrison in 19th, and Bowie Sewin in 20th. Matt McGee and Brian Tidd were the final drivers on the lead lap. 1 lap down for John Nicholford, Chris Jennings, James Helbling, Andy Kosick, Steve Hemetz, Brian Hayes, and Cindy Pickett. Retirements for Tyler Schmidt and Dennis Daniel. That is 29 drivers who are 1 race closer to being drawn in our summer prize draw. They've only got to complete 3 more races now. And our podium are going to swing by. Jared Collins finished 3rd. Well done.
Yep. Thanks. Thank you very much.
How did you find the TCR here at Sebring? Our only race in these cars so far this season was Daytona, which is an odd little road course. Sebring also unique in its bumps.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot trickier here at Sebring than Daytona for me personally. I had a hard time. There's a lot of high-speed corners, and the car, for me, snaps. If I try to rotate it, it snaps and you slide over the place, or it doesn't turn. So trying to find that window of the right amount of slip is critical, but really tricky because if you go one way or the other, you scrub a ton of speed.
I've got my pen to the back of an envelope and it says that you are now the championship leader.
Oh man, let's go. Excellent.
I don't think Puchtel has outscored you by 5 points today. So
awesome. Yeah. That's a really good feeling then. I think it's going to shape up to be a really interesting season, especially with, Polasek missing the first 3, so he has no drops. Obviously, if he wins out, he still wins the championship. But it's kind of there's a lot going on with the drops and not drops, and the championship picture-wise is very interesting this season.
Are there any other cars or races that you're targeting, and enduros with Dad or with someone else?
Yeah, definitely enduros with Dad. Shout out to him for top 10 in qualifying. That's a pretty big deal for him. He's got to change it into the results, but awesome that he's qualifying up in the top half. So we'll definitely do some enduros with my dad. I don't know. The TCRs are definitely my worst car. So the MX-5 and the GR86, excited for all of those. I think some of the car, Bathurst and Road America in particular should be very interesting with the draft. I think both of those will be big pack racing.
Well done on 3rd at Sebring, and glad you're looking forward to the rest of the year. We'll see you there.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
2nd on the road, Ryan Puchtel. going to join Devin Peters.
I got Ryan right here. Ryan, it was a quiet day for the most part out there in the TCRs for you, except for that one little moment.
Yeah, that definitely got the heart rate up.
Feeling pretty comfortable in the TCR though, hey?
Yeah, I like it. I've been doing a couple of official races with it. Something different, but yeah, I enjoy it.
It looked like you were showing pretty solid pace. It was kind of interesting to see the spread across the top, even the top 10. Just the averages were just a little different between you and Puckdale and you and Collins. So a pretty solitary race. Did you have to pass anyone other than lap traffic today?
I don't think so, but yeah, Michael's pace was pretty good this race. Yeah, he got that second and a half gap right in the beginning. So yeah, wasn't able to have the draft. So that kind of sealed it there.
It's been a strong string of finishes for you this season. A couple thirds, couple seconds, and another one added to the belt this year. We were doing some napkin math, and I think Collins has just eked you out, taking the points lead away. But you got to be feeling pretty good 5 races in.
Yeah, I think it's better than last season. Yeah, just trying to stay out of trouble and just trying to get my practice in.
Well, you sound calm, cool, and collected. Anything coming up that you think you're going to have an edge on?
I don't think anything in particular. I kind of like all the tracks. I would say maybe Bathurst would be the one that I would be most hesitant on. That track is kind of scary for me. Had some bad experiences, so it'll be interesting.
Hey, you always need a little bit of excitement on the schedule. I'm excited to see you guys going around there. Quality stuff out there tonight, and we'll see you at the next one.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Cheers.
And our race winners here. Hello. Well done, Michael Polasek.
Thank you very much. This was definitely an interesting race because of how the fixed setups for the TCRs drive. They're very, very hard on tires, so you have to just baby the car around the track for the most part and try not to burn them up. And once they start falling off, you just have to compensate both with brake bias and driving style.
Super close right at the end of the race there as you took the white flag with about 2 seconds left. No thoughts on gaming that one? You happy?
Honestly, I had the fuel to go the distance, so I really wasn't paying attention to it, to be honest. I was just driving around and having a decent time.
And you've had a decent time 2 rounds in a row. Any further obstructions in your calendar for Wednesday nights?
Hopefully not. Regardless, I'll try to make as many of these as I can. It's been a lot of fun, and might bring some of the other TCR guys along to future rounds.
That would be very, very interesting. So everyone thinks that that you're still in this fight. Do you feel that way?
As long as I can make all the rounds, probably. We'll see what happens.
It'll be very, very interesting either way. Well done. 2 wins in a row in 2 cars. We look forward to seeing you next time.
Yeah, I think it's a long run.
Wait, how was Watkins Glen?
Really good. Saturday, unfortunately, didn't go to plan. We had a very competitive car, though, both days. It felt really good in Friday practice. Saturday, unfortunately, we had a spin, which caused a backfire and both air intakes to explode. Like, they basically completely ripped in half. So that pretty much took us out of contention, as well as a couple of electrical issues. But Sunday went a lot better. We pretty much had a completely flawless race. Started decently high up. I think we started P12 out of 73 car field. and we worked our way up to the lead. We pit under a code 35 while the other cars did not, which gave us a huge advantage. So when I got in the car, I was able to maintain that lead. It felt really nice, and all the training from the sim round the week before helped immensely, and we ended up bringing home the win.
That's awesome. Well done, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you very much.
So there we go. Our podium from round 5, Sebring. We'll go to the schedule. And tell you what's next. It's Lime Rock Park in the MX5. So don't expect quite as much slipstreaming, fuel-saving pack racing, but it's a beautiful racetrack, and one that we all know well on iRacing, but that the ChampCar Endurance Series hasn't had a whole lot to do with. So certainly joining us for the iRacing Series would be great preparation, and it's never too late to join, Devin.
Never too late to join. There's we're just about coming up on halfway here. Lime Rock will be the halfway mark on the season, but plenty of opportunities to come out and race, compete, and maybe make some connections, whether you want to go down to your first real world ChampCar race or make some friends for the endurance season later this year. The ChampCar iRacing Series is always open to new competitors, and yeah, it's the pathway, man. I mean, me and Haynes, we both got our start in sim racing and got the chance to race real cars on some of the best tracks in North America, all thanks to the ChampCar Series. And so it is such a pleasure to bring this show to you folks.
And I've had a look. The standings exiting this race will in fact be Lincoln Fox, Jared Collins, Ryan Puchtel, Michael Chase, Kyle Robertson as our top 5, but with 2 wins from 2 races after 5 completed, Michael Polasek has moved up to 13th in the standings on 100 points behind the championship leader on 188. There's all to play for in all of the remaining rounds. It will be live on HJBC and ChampCar Live, and you can always join us forum.champcar.org or find us on the Discord, which is linked across the YouTubes. So you can always join, look at the schedule, join the league, and get your practice in for the ChampCar Endurance Series. Thank you for joining us from Sebring as Michael Polasek wins. I've been David Haynes with Devin Peters, Michael Derby in our production, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time at Lime Rock Park.